Since the very beginning, Chicago has been impacted by fires such as the Stockyard Fire, the Sal Hotel Fire, Our Lady of the Angel School Fire, the McCormick Place Fire, and most famous, the Chicago Fire. But lesser is known fire was the Iroquois Theatre Fire, which had a great impact on fire safety regulations in theaters around the country and even the world. The Iroquois Theatre was exquisitely designed and inspired after the Opera Comique in Paris, and the building was claimed to have a state-of-the-art fire safety architecture. The architect, Mr. Benjamin H. Marshall, built the most imposing and attractive facade to be seen in the city, a modern structure, and will even impress the most superficial observer by its beauty and grandeur. The style architecturally is the French Renaissance, which has a strong suggestion of classic. This mingling of the heroic and lighter lines is artistically adroit and very satisfactory. Although the theater was flawless to the eye, there were things that were in error. The theater was scheduled to open till November 23rd of 1903, but wasn't quite finished and was under construction till opening day. Paint was still wet, giving out fumes, and many of the fire protection have not been installed. On Monday, November 27, 1903, the new Iroquois Theatre opened at 2428 Randolph to the public. It had bragged about its new state-of-the-art fireproof design. And on Wednesday, December 30th at 3:15 p.m., in the middle of the second act during a Manti performance of the very successful play Mr. Bluebeard starring Eddie Foy, a spark flew out of one of the lights and fell on the curtains. A stagehand tried to put out the fumes with fire powder, but failed to do so. The fire started too quickly to spread quickly across the curtains. Eddie Foy tried to keep the audience calm by telling the orchestra to keep playing, but it didn't help. Another stagehand tried to lower the abstiso curtain, but it caught on something and did not lower properly, which left a gap between the stage floor and the bottom of the curtain. The guests fled in their seats in fright. They rushed every exit in the house they could find, but a lot of the exits were either locked, hidden behind the curtains, or people cannot see them because of the smoke. Also, every person in the balcony was locked up there to avoid them from coming down to the better seats. And since the building was not complete, a lot of its fire safety features like the fire escape ladder was not complete. So when people tried to get out from there, they just fell to their death. And the people that survived were mostly because they fell on the pile of dead bodies. Other people died because they couldn't escape on the inside because the doors swing in instead of pushing out. And because a lot of them were burned to death. And other people that died inside the theater were unscathed by the fire, mainly because they were crushed by all of the bodies. When firefighters got to the scene, they did not think the fire was causing that much damage, because the fire cannot be seen from the outside. And when the fire started to calm down, someone in the theater found and opened an exit, letting in a blast of air, reigniting the fire and burning everyone there. Picture this. You're standing at the front door getting ready to leave. Normally, you'll reach out and grab the doorknob or handle and turn it or pull it in your direction. Now picture yourself in a public building such as a school or a mall even. It's different, right? The doors swing outwards instead of inwards, correct? The Iroquois Theatre fire has something to do with that difference. Prior to the fire, a majority of the exits were hidden behind drapes and not marked. Others were locked to foil gate crashers. Some were latched with bascule locks, which required the operation of a small, hard to find lever to open. The theater also had installed ventilators that did not work, plus exits that were not properly marked. No installed alarm system, no fire protection devices such as extinguishers and standpipes, and lastly, no automatic sprinklers in the stage area, although it was required. And, as was the practice at the time, all the exit doors opened inwards. Henry DuPont, and with the support of Prinzer, who was a salesman from Indianapolis hardware store, and his employer, set out to create a door mechanism that would prevent people from being trapped inside a burning building, even while a door was locked. 5 years later, in 1908, the team finished their new mechanism, which is known as the panic release bar, or just a panic bar. With the amount of lives on such a tragic occasion, many people set out to create new regulations for the public buildings, and most importantly, at a time, theaters. Post to the Iroquois fire, you have agencies such as the National Fire Protection Association, the International Code Council, and the Underwriters Laboratories, and many more that can help with the development of codes and regulations that limit the devastating effect that fires have created and will continue to create. In conclusion, the Iroquois Theatre contributed to preventing dangers of the fire in theaters. Due to the tragic burning of the theater that killed 608 people, all Chicago theaters were closed until they passed inspection. The effect spread beyond Chicago to every city in the country, where new ordinances were enacted and old ones enforced, so that theaters will never have again the menace of destruction they were in before.